everybody, and welcome back to the Alkaline Network Battle Report. I am, of course, your buddy WyoDarkWolf, and with me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Hedninger.
What's going on, guys?
Alright, this week's Battle Report, we're talking about the DLCs, guys. And this last week, we've got a big announcement from DICE on the next 3 DLCs that are coming down the pipe. First...
Yeah, we've basically just been given a year's worth of content, essentially, in one update, so...
Yeah, that's a big amount of news to come from them. And the first one, which is supposed to drop here in June, is Close Quarters. Now, at face value, this looks and sounds frickin' awesome.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's going to be a PDW shotgun fest. Now, my kind of thought and criticism to this falls to that the carbines also fall into this category, and where you find the carbine, you find people running around with rocket launchers.
Yes, you do, which I guess can't be helped in a certain way, but actually, yes, it can. Learn some etiquette, please.
Yeah, I honestly, I can see that this is going to be some fun maps if you got people playing it the right way, but otherwise it's going to look like Rocket Cunt from Halo, or the Blue Angels are doing an aerial performance in a short area, with the amount of contrails flying from rockets.
It's one of those sort of 50-50 things. It could either be like the best thing to happen or the worst thing to happen, and it's purely going to be down to how the community handles this, which, in our experience, has not been very good.
No, because this, and I think we talked about this a little bit ago, is that I guarantee within the first 24 hours there's going to be a big commentator who puts up a rocket video. And it's going to be downhill from there.
So I don't know, maybe they'll enforce some sort of equipment limitation, since, I mean, they've just posted a screenshot of the actual map, and it is literally tiny. It's like a Call of Duty map. It's really small. There's no room for vehicles whatsoever. So as such, you would expect there'd be no reason to have anti-vehicle weapons. So
you'd like to think that, but even on infantry-only maps anyway, we do tend to run into people launching rockets constantly. And I mean, for like the assignment where you have to kill however many people with a rocket, that's understandable, and I can see where that comes from. But when it's, you can tell the guy's already got that weapon unlocked and he's still doing it, you're kind of like, really, dude, come on.
Yeah, it's it's not great. It's just one of those, just one of those sad cases of just a lack of etiquette on that tends to be present on sort of the console, and it's kind of spreading to PC a little bit.
Yeah, I will say that I've seen a lot of like the level nothing engineers running around launching rockets at everybody, at least on the PC wise. But, I mean, on PC, we tend to have a little bit different view on the etiquette anyway, like the blowtorch kill. If you see somebody that's running around with a blowtorch and they're actively trying to get that, and you know they don't have the weapon, usually someone will be cool enough to just stop and just stand there and let them kill them, just so they can get the weapon. It's, it's kind of like that, look, you'll never get it any other way anyway, so here, just get it. And I've done it for people, and I've had people do it for me. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's a little bit more of that, hey, I know you want to unlock this gun, you're trying for that, so I'll help you out.
Yeah.
Vice on the console, where it seems that they don't care about whether you're trying to unlock a weapon or not. They want to be a douche.
Yeah, it's essentially a free-for-all. And I mean, it's partially, I mean, you can trace some of the blame back to YouTube, and it sort of created this sort of community of tryhards.
We have, in effect, all the YouTube commentators, at least in the Battlefield side, do create monsters, and Call of Duty does it too. So
yeah, oh, absolutely.
And it spreads to other games like a bad virus. So, but
yeah.
The other thing, the other 2 packs that are coming in the fall and in the winter, the Armored Kill, which honestly, the thing that caught my attention to it was the ATVs are coming back.
The thing that caught my attention was mobile artillery.
I was talking with a guy about this and thinking about it military-wise. The only 2 really mobile artillery units that we could think of are the Paladin howitzers and the MLRS system, which has like 24 rockets it can fire.
I seem to remember there being one in the original Bad Company, at least in the campaign, but I could be mistaken.
Well, you had like the howitzers that were sitting there, but they weren't mobile. You just jumped in it and you controlled it from a distance. And if they bring something back like that, I could foresee us using the mortar-style screen for artillery.
Yeah, that's something I missed from Bad Company 2 is the Recon's mortar strike. So
Yeah.
looks like we're getting something similar to that coming back. So that's going to be
That
cool. And also just a big focus on vehicle warfare. It's like we've got one pack coming up first of all that's like pure CQB infantry fighting, and then we've got another that's like 100% focused on just vehicle on vehicle, big maps.
which also brings us to the fact that they're including the biggest map in Battlefield history.
Yeah.
Which I saw someone.
And when they say that, you know that's going to be that's going
It's
to be
going to be
big.
huge. And I know I saw a tweet from somebody who was saying something about, like, great, well, now it's going to take me, instead of 5 minutes to find somebody, it's going to take me 20 minutes. And my thought was, well, then you need to learn where the hell the objective is and how to play it.
Yeah.
Honestly, people who say they can't find anybody are nowhere near the objective usually. So if you have, that's my key advice. If you can't find anybody, you're not anywhere near the objective. Go to an objective, you will find somebody.
Yeah, and I'm a console player, and specifically PlayStation 3, which is getting a lot of flack at the moment for input lag and VoIP and whatever. Personally, I disagree because I've had no issue with the game. I've had no issue achieving a 500 score per minute or any of this, or just having a great time with the game. So
well,
I don't see what the community is seeing, but
I think the other thing that makes me laugh about this is that PlayStation has gotten the lead on Battlefield 3. All the stuff we saw for E3 and everything else was on PlayStation. PlayStation got the expansion pack first. They got B2K
EA
first.
has a history of treating the PS3 a bit more special, just like Activision sort of focuses on Xbox.
Exactly. So I don't get why PlayStation has to be so angry about everything. It's like you are the favored child. You get the things first.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, well, I was saying I can personally vouch that like maps like Caspian Border are not. They're not empty. It's not hard to find people. Like if you're on the flags, you're in the fight. You're going to be finding people, and it doesn't feel like a different experience because there's less players. Because Battlefield is such an intense game.
Oh, it is an extremely intense game. If you're anywhere near an objective, usually there's a lot of firefights. Even on like the big vehicle maps, you could say like Caspian Border is a great one. Everyone always like contests over Alpha and Delta usually. They'll ignore Bravo and Charlie, and it's Alpha and Delta where the fight usually centers around. And it's when people get bored of that fight that Alpha or Charlie and Bravo get looked at. So if you're around one of those two areas, you're gonna be in a huge fight, whether it's armored or aircraft are firing in. There's gonna be a fight there. But the third expansion, or the final and fourth expansion, sorry, is called Endgame. I haven't seen anything on this yet. All I know is the name.
Yeah, they're keeping a tight lid on that.
So I don't know, maybe what it'll be like or anything else. I can hope it's going to be awesome since we're getting an infantry and an armor or a vehicle path. Maybe it'll be a mix of the both.
Yeah, I'm guessing since they're sort of segregating the two sort of Battlefield styles, that this fourth and final expansion is going to be just sort of the mother load. Just be like a combination of everything that's come so far.
I mean, I'm still holding out hope that somewhere in this we'll get some like 2142 style maps.
Yeah, there is a rumor going around at the moment.
That we'll get some Bad Company styled maps, something. Just because I think fans who've been following the series, through all of the different incantations of it, would like to see some of the other maps come back, especially the large snow maps from 2142 and some of the more jungle style fighting from the Bad Companies.
Yeah, and that'll just be a treat for a lot of us console guys that just haven't had a chance to play these maps. Maybe we're not. A lot of people aren't going to be familiar with stuff like Battlefield 2 on console, so it's going to be interesting to see how the console community reacts to these old maps, if in fact we do get them.
Yeah, I mean, with B2K, there was a large community, especially those of us who had been around since Battlefield 2 and 1942, that were ecstatic to see Wake Island coming back, to see Gulf of Oman come back, because that was one of our favorite maps. Karkand itself, Karkand on the console is really limited compared to the PC version of it, and it kind of set.
I have to say, I do really like Karkand though. That sticks out in my mind as one of my favorite maps for
Yeah,
Battlefield
don't
3.
get me wrong, they did a great job on it, but
Yeah.
when you compare like the console to the PC versions, it's apples and oranges, man. It really is. I mean, the map's larger, and I mean, yeah, if you play like Rush on console, you'll actually get to cross the bridge. But if you play like large Conquest version of it on PC, you get to cross the bridge whenever you damn well please. So, I mean, it's, you know, two different categories here compared to, you know, the small
Yeah.
conquests that we have on consoles compared to our PCs.
Yeah, I think the smaller size actually suits the console a bit more. You know, it's because it is quite chaotic, especially for new players, and that's the thing. Console is always going to bring in some of the more newer and inexperienced gamers.
Well,
You know, generally you can say that PC gamers are a bit more well versed on sort of the history of games and all the previous titles.
well,
So I guess it kind of works better in that
that
sense.
and as PC gamers, we tend to look at the fact that we want these huge maps. I mean, I've played in servers on other games where we've had 250 people in a server and it was chaos.
Yeah.
And just thinking, like, even if, like, I know we can get up to, like, 32-man servers for console. And I mean, even bumping that up just a little bit for, you know, the console for Battlefield 3, I think that would make Conquest a little bit more interesting. We could have some of the larger Conquest maps.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, for instance, Karg Island, the large version of that, I would love to have that on console because it's not that it's any more spread out across the map. It's just that there's places that people already go to on console, and more specifically, the prairie dogs like to hang out, that are actually cap points on PC, vice on console.
All right.
So, I mean, even if we got, like, the Karg Island large version for console, I think that would be interesting. I'd like to see that swapped into the rotation vice, the small one. You know, just things like that.
Well, I mean, with this DLC coming out, I mean, it could be something that happens. We might see uh, the player limit raised on console, at least for one map. I mean, maybe not for the others, but
Well,
I
I
guess
think,
we just have to wait and see.
I mean, and they've already said that we're also on consoles, you're going to be able to get your own server set up for console. So it might give you the
Yeah,
ability to give larger sizes for your server.
yeah. There's a new console. There's a new server renting program coming out soon. That's just been announced. So that sounds kind of interesting because I know there's a lot of guys out there. I mean, I've even had these as comments on my videos. There's a lot of people want to be able to set up their own private matches or set up their own servers on
Oh,
console.
exactly.
So I guess they're really listening. I mean, personally, I've never seen an issue with it. I mean, I can see where people are coming from where they want to like train with aircraft and stuff like that, but
Yeah, and,
it's
you know, I've told a
yeah,
lot of people this, is that if you get, like, maybe a squad worth of buddies, and you find, like, a conquest map that has next to nobody in it, a lot of times when you find those servers, it's people are actually just learning to fly.
yeah,
And you don't have to worry about, oh, well, I'm gonna shoot him down now. No, you don't really have to worry about that as much on those servers with less people, because they're actually, you know, people that are trying to learn the game and trying to fly. Vice, you know, the guy that jumps into the, hey, look, there's an entire server full of people, let me jump in the helicopter and crash it 2 feet away from where I started.
that's maybe something they could address in a different way. Because I remember when I started playing Bad Company 2, there was an onslaught mode, which was like one squad co-op against. It was sort of like Conquest, but it was against AI,
Yeah,
and there was like a
it
whole
was
range of vehicles you could
it
use.
was the
And I actually like went out of my way to learn the
it
helicopter
was
and make sure I could land
Battlefield's
it and fly.
response to the Spec Ops type modes.
Yeah,
And
and it
it
was
was
actually
really
quite
good.
a
It
lot of
helped you
fun.
learn fly, learn tanks, learn, you know, how to range your tanks a lot better, all this sort of stuff. And I almost kind of hope that we get something like that somewhere down the line.
Yeah, it would be nice to see some sort of tutorial or like training area or just something like that so people can get to grips because it is quite complex. You've got a lot of different systems to learn.
And I
So
think this is where, like, Play for Free actually excelled, was that to unlock the ability to fly, you had to put skill points that you earned from playing match after match into that area. And then once you got to that, it would allow you to get into the cockpit of the helicopter or whatever, and then you could learn to fly. And on Play for Free, it was, you know, like, I did the original beta testing and all that stuff for it, so, like, the first couple matches where nobody had anything, we all just kind of were like, sweet, we'll jump in the choppers and all that, and we all just kind of sat there on the ground looking at each other.
Yeah. It's quite a good system as well in the sense that it keeps the good players that are actually going to do a lot of damage in those vehicles. It keeps those guys in the air, and you know that guy who you get in the aircraft with and he just immediately crashes it. He's kind of got to spend a bit more time and get to grips
That,
a bit more
and
before
you
he
get the people that don't understand, like, the flight mechanics, that, you know, they'll go screaming all the way to the top of the altitude with a chopper and sit themselves right in the line of sight of everything else.
Seems to happen every time I'm like gunner for someone who isn't someone I know. That's all they do. They'll go straight to like the top of the skybox and start dogfighting jets, and it's like I wish you wouldn't.
Yeah, that does tend to happen, and like when I become a chopper pilot and I'm flying, I'm usually never up that high unless the enemy chopper has got me in their sights, and then I'm going to be circling around to try to gain altitude to fight them.
Yep.
And I know on, at least for the PC side of the world, when we get a pilot who's flying and you're his gunner or whatever, and he stays up for a while and does really good, and say like all of a sudden he goes to do a maneuver and he crashes or something, right off the bat you'll automatically get like a dude, my bad on that from the guy. And it goes back to that, you know, hey, I acknowledge that I fucked up, my bad, which in the console world we don't get a lot of, mainly because we can't chat with everybody. I mean, don't get...
And then it tends to be the people that are on headset and are communicating tend to be the people who really shouldn't be.
Well, and I think, you know, the fact that you can set up your comms between your team or your squad...
Yeah, I love that. That's always been... I love that in Medal of Honor as well.
That is a very good choice. However, most people don't set it to talk to the team. And if you're like me, when I have my headset in and I'm playing and I'm actually talking, I'm usually in a party with people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know, it nullifies whether I'm talking to my team or my squad. Which I am looking forward to the, you know, stop splitting up our squad problems getting fixed.
Yes.
There's nothing more irritating than, you know, having 4 people a perfectly built squad and then you join a server and it puts one person out of that squad on the other team. It's like, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a small issue because, I mean, you just gotta, you know, let everyone know what squad you're in and just fix it quickly. But, I mean, still, it's just one of those things that just shouldn't really happen.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when the game software, I know it recognizes that you have a squad built, but when it goes just like server looking or whatever, and it goes, oh look, there's 2 open slots in this server, and if there's 2 of you in the squad, it throws you in the server. But what it doesn't look at is the fact that, yeah, the open slots are there, but one's on one team and one's on the other.
Yeah.
That, if they could fix that, so it just would go, okay, well, there's 2 open slots, one's on this team, one's on this team, not that server, I would probably enjoy it a lot more. And I think...
Yeah, I think it boils down to the same thing sort of happened to Call of Duty. It's like it prioritizes getting you into a match quickly rather than getting you into a match efficiently.
And this is probably the big beef I have with like the PC side of it is that there is no option, like when you're joining in, to go ahead and put you in a squad. So you'll join in and there's like 20 people not in a squad in the entire server, and there's like 1 squad of people. So you have to find a squad and basically build the squad up and let other people join in on your squad. So I think bringing back the option like we had in Bad Company 2 to like, yes, put me in a squad, would be a nice thing to see, at least pop up like when, as soon as it loads up on PC, it goes, do you want to be in the squad? And you go yes or no. And then it goes, okay, well, you're in this squad now. Because a lot of times you'll end up, and PC does this a lot, where it'll put you on the squad with like a bunch of prairie dogs, and you're like, God,
yeah, that always seems to be the case.
And it does that to me all the time in Bad Company too. It's like, here, you're in this squad with 3 other freaking bush monsters that are hiding out. Great, thanks. Now it's like,
this CQB DLC, I think, is gonna help to eliminate a lot of that.
I think
it's also gonna make the squad play even more crucial. So that update is gonna be really
I think it's
necessary.
going to bring the type of aggressive recon I like to play with PDWs into a lot brighter
Yeah.
light, vice the guys running around in hardcore mode with the M98.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a lot more people running around with PDWs and shotguns in this setting, vice people running around with assault rifles and,
Yeah.
you know, sniper rifles going, haha, look at me. And I think that falls into my beef with one-hit kill from the bolt actions again. But
Yeah. It's just nice to know that we're getting another sort of flavor of Battlefield to enjoy.
well,
But yeah, there's going to be new weapons and new vehicles in all of these DLCs. So
yes, it's going to be
that's
interesting
going to be
to
quite
see
cool.
how we have to unlock these new weapons as well. As long as they don't do the hey, look, play
Yeah.
squad deathmatch thing again, I think we'll be fine with that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe they've learned a lesson or if we're going to get more of that.
I don't know. I know that that was a huge complaint within the community. I don't know whether DICE took that to heart when making the assignment for this one. We basically have to wait and see until we get more information from the community managers for it.
I'm hoping we actually get dog tag unlocks as well, rather than just having them all included with the download.
Well, it does say new assignments and equip unique dog tags in the listing, but I don't know whether it's going to be like, here's your dog tags again, or if it's okay, earn all these dog tags.
Yeah, because we say it every time, like getting new Punisher and stuff when you level 1 is just bullshit.
Exactly.
And Battle Vet and stuff
You know,
like that.
I say this time and time again, and I've even asked the CMs about this, and I've yet to get a response about this, is why did you give Battle Vet to everybody when it should have been like they have to have at least a no-shit veteran score in the Battlefield community of at least 2? You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I mean, just set it up so there has to be a system to unlock these things like they did with every other dog tag. That would have made sense,
Yeah.
not like... I mean, I could see given, like, the Are Those Subtitles tag, which tons of people probably don't even know where that's from anyway. But just giving that away at the beginning, because that, there was nothing really special about that. I mean, unless you played, Battlefield 2 and you understood where that actually came from and the guys who did that and where they work at right now.
It's cool to have those nice little extras, but it's also good to have just more stuff to unlock, I guess.
Oh, and for anybody who
A nice little
doesn't
sidetrack.
really know, is that there is already a Spec Act kit released for Battlefield that gives you an extra camouflage and will unlock all the freaking special dog tags that have been set out so far, even the pre-order dog tags.
Yeah, if you're in the PAL territories like me, if you go onto either your Xbox Live marketplace or your PlayStation Store, you can find it's 2 different packs. One of them includes all the pre-order bonuses, so the Dr. Pepper camouflage and all the Dr. Pepper dog tags and stuff like that. Then the other is the Spec Act kit, which is a new camouflage, one for each for American and Russian, and it includes the Act of Valor dog tags, which were previously only for the North American region.
Yep, and the camos actually look pretty cool. I'm running the Spec Act camo on all my guys right now because it looks really cool.
Yeah. I think I'm using both that and the Dr. Pepper for pretty much all my classes.
Yeah, I've had the Dr. Pepper forever, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But
the only thing is they are premium, but they are very cheap. It's about in the UK it's about £1.50.
Yeah, they're extremely cheap. They're not like the Spec Ats where it was like $5.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. I bought those not really knowing what it was, and if I knew at the time that it was just like the last gun reskinned and then like a slightly different skin, I probably wouldn't have bothered.
Yeah, but all right, we are coming to the end of our time here, guys. So, great time. You guys know how to get a hold of us if you need to with our Twitters. Hear comments on this. Do you have any final comments here, Jez?
Not much. I mean, there's a couple rumors flying around about snow maps and stuff like that, but you pretty much find it all for yourself in the links we'll be providing. So.
Yep. So, this is the end of Battle Report. Until next time, guys, we will see you on the battlefield.